guys, we are back for Pop with Pallas. There's Tony Kemp. Notice he's got contacts today. He's not wearing the glasses. It's a totally different look, so we're trying something new. And I'm just about to sit down. We are going to finish counting down the top 10 list of ways to make your life pop. This is such great lighting. I'm going to try to get out of it, sit over here, and we're starting in just a few. Have you heard much from Patricia lately?
No.
No, me neither. She's been quiet. So I'm assuming she's got a lot going on behind the scenes.
Okay, do you have a White Stripes song that you like?
Seven Nation Army is always a good one, but that may be overplayed. And you're the music critic, so do you have one that you like?
I'm not a critic, but is there one that you like that's not Seven Nation Army?
I can't. Off the top of my head, I'm not really good at remembering the names of them, so I would have to just sort of hear a...
Icky Thumb, Fell in Love with a Girl, The Hardest Button to Button. I just don't know what to do with myself. That's a cover they did.
Okay, let's do that one.
I just don't know what to do. That one.
Yeah. Let's do that one. That's a good one. And then if you could flick the screen that way. We're talking about picking a White Stripes song because I lived in Detroit and I really loved the White Stripes. But I'm really... It's a different one. But it's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm not very good at remembering the names of songs.
See that?
I can't see that. I'm going to bring this down just a wee bit. We're going to do our little trick again. There we go. Show a little more Tony there, I think. Okay.
About 4 or 5 minutes.
Very high tech, obviously. Oh, and the thumb drive with all the other podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that?
I don't have a USB.
You don't have a USB?
No, I mean if you could bring one in.
Yes. I had one and I left it at home.
I don't have a spare one.
That's okay. I can run and go buy one. Is there a place
I've got them there on my... Yeah. I've got them there for you.
Thank you. I'm trying to think if there's a place nearby that we could buy a USB. So we're trying to download the podcast. Apparently, you can only download the current year podcast, and it would be nice to save some of them. So that's what we're trying to do. Anything you want to chat about in today's opening?
No, nothing.
Nothing at all. Okay.
I'll just go with the flow.
Okay, no gigging or anything this past weekend, or?
Oh, well, we had
Always.
one, just a wedding.
And you're getting ready to go on your cruise.
Yep, got
Yeah.
another wedding this weekend. So it's kind of week by week, really.
Mm. Is this your busy season because of weddings?
Yep.
Yeah. When's your not so busy season?
Oh, winter, May, June, July.
Okay. Okay, so we've got through the 1, 2, 3 of the top 10 last week. We've got 4 through... Ah! Do you notice that I do not have a number 10 on this list? Something didn't print out? Okay, so what's the way to make your life pop?
What's the way to make my life pop?
Yeah. What really gets you in that point where you feel like everything's aligned, you're playing to your passions, you're honoring your values, you're using your talents?
I don't know if I can answer that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's just kind of funny that number 10 didn't print out on here. I should know them by heart, but I don't. Yeah, this is the one I'm going to put, though. Be present. I really do think I almost consider changing the name of POP from the power of passion, purpose, and personality to the power of passion, purpose, and presence. Because it's not just your presence.
Presence in the now?
Presence, both your presence, like how you come across, and presence in the now. So that's be present is the number 10 that I'm going to use for today. Because I can't remember what the number 10 was. Because I'm creating this stuff as I go.
Oh, my eyes feel a bit blurry.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then you have to blink a million times to make them come into focus. just misnumbered, that's why. Okay.
This is WC Feminist Radio.
Let's add 2 more and then our intro.
Okay. Well, I found the number 10. It's just misnumbered.
Checking. No one's
Talk
in here.
about current events and media from a women's perspective, women and men.
اسمع أحلى الأغاني العربية وآخر الأخبار والمواضيع والأنشطة العربية والمحلية من ويلينغتون في برنامج بالعربي مع معتصم على ويلينغتون أكسس راديو 106.1 الأحد.
Love this radio station. All the variety.
Capital Irish is a half-hour show airing on Sundays at noon on Wellington
An
Access
Arabic
Radio
show, an
106.1
Irish show.
FM. Each week on Capital
We've got
Irish,
Pacifica
you'll hear
shows.
a selection of Irish presenters from across the generations, bringing you a wide variety of Irish music, news and views, as well as updates on local events here in Wellington, which have an Irish flavour. So tune in at noon on Sunday to Wellington Access Radio 106.1 FM or catch up online by going to www.accessradio.org.nz to hear Capital Irish.
Hey you, yes I am talking to you. Are you ready to make your life pop with passion, purpose, and personality? Well then welcome to Pop with Pallas. On this show we unpack all the different ways that you can follow your passion, discover your purpose, and express it with personality. How you can make your life extraordinary. Welcome everybody, I'm Pallas and I'm joined by co-host Tony Kemp. How are you, Tony?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. You know, 2018 has been quite a year for a lot of people. I mean, obviously, if you look at headlines, there have been some very negative and very upsetting events. But personally, when I talk to different people, I am amazed at how much is literally popping this year, how busy we are. And I was just talking to you about your schedule. You're pretty busy too this time of year.
Yes, definitely.
Any more than normal?
Yes, and the weekends are very busy and, well, busy during the week, yeah, busy all around.
Yeah.
And then with kids on top of that.
Yes, absolutely. But I've just literally, there's something in the air. Projects are coming together, people are deciding to act on things or being sort of nudged to move forward on plans and projects. And it's fascinating. I don't know what you believe in, if there's anything in the star alignment or what's going on out there, but it's a really productive.
Of course, as long as you're busy and things are like happening.
And you
You're
like
not-
what's happening.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're not busy, but it's not going your way either.
Not busy and not stressy. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a big difference.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, and that's what this show is about, because we want people to live their lives and do the things that actually light them up from inside, that really do make their life pop. And you can get very stuck in a rut, basically. And I have to say that, you know, one of the things that was prompting that comment about 2018 is that I have several former clients that this year, after having worked with me a while back and then implementing a lot of their plans and projects, are now, just this year, being offered promotions or new jobs that really align with who they are. And it's making an impact both in their lives and the people that they're working for. Because when you really are clicked in and engaged, you're a much more productive employee.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm celebrating for them. I'm taking a wee bit of the credit myself, but I'm just thrilled because it's all based on what we're talking about on this radio show. So we should probably.
So it is true.
So it is true.
Your,
so it
your
actually,
work is working.
yeah, it works, and that's probably really important because again, I'm so mindful every time I start the show and I think, oh, someone's tuning in for the first time. You know, probably someone's out there rolling their eyes saying, "Make your life pop." What does that mean, really? It's so light and fluffy, but actually, it's proven. And it sort of incorporates wisdom from a lot of different methodologies and things that have worked for other people. You know, things like Know Your Strengths, which has been out there for a while. And that is one of our top 10 lists that I was going to count down today. But basically, it sounds light and effervescent, but it's actually quite meaningful if you really open your mind, listen to the advice, follow the prompts, and apply it.
For for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you because you have one of the workbooks, and I'm wondering how far you've gotten through that workbook.
Well, because of a busy life, I haven't got very far at all.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what happens, isn't it?
It is, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we start, and then we get off track. And then we forget that we need to invest in ourselves.
But then hopefully you come back to it and go, oh, actually, I've just been working on that, or
Yeah.
when I was doing that, this is better, or
Yeah.
I've opened up more about something, or
Yeah, so when you revisit, you may be in a different headspace, is what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Tony's getting ready to do his, well, it's a really cool gig because he gets to go on a cruise and gig on the cruise with his band.
And talking about the cruise, did you see a cruise boat in here in the weekend? Did you go past the port?
No, I didn't go past the port, but they're
the boat was in.
every weekend. Oh, was that boat? Your
Yeah,
boat?
that exact boat was in here at Wellington Harbour.
Yeah.
So at the moment it's doing a New Zealand cruise, and then my cruise is around some of the islands.
Oh, it's
I
hard
think
not to.
Vanuatu and
It's hard not to be a wee bit envious, but I know it's work. It's not. I mean,
it's yeah,
yeah,
it's work, but it's good work, you know.
yeah,
Do what you love and love what you do.
yep. There you
That's
go.
saying.
Well, I'm putting it out there. I want a speaking gig in the islands. Yes, I would like to go to the islands, do a little work, and have a chance to play a little bit and get some beach time in.
Yeah.
So I just figure I'm going to put that out there and see what happens. I'll report back to you if it works. So anyway, do what you love and love what you do, and that is probably another good list. How do you do that? How do you accomplish that? So we'll have to work on that list too. But the list that we're talking about today is the top 10 ways to make your life pop. And last week we started counting down, but we only got to number 3. If you did not hear that broadcast, the first one was tune into your spidey sense and act on it. And that is about intuition, really getting clear about your intuition, what it's telling you, when it's intuition and not fear. And that's the second point. Face your fear and put it in perspective. So distinguish that little voice inside, make sure it's intuition. And then when you identify a fearful voice speaking up, then really examine it and put it into perspective, because often it's a little overwrought, for lack of a better phrase. Has fear ever stopped you from doing something before that you've regretted?
I don't really want to say regret.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has stopped me.
Yeah. But those are learning
Too many
experiences.
hours.
Well, those are learning
There was
experiences.
once where I knew a drummer guy and he said, come along tonight, I'm doing this group, and fear stopped me from going to it just before I was about to leave the house. This is years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
And I do think back that time thinking I should have gone.
yes. But what did you learn from that?
Just that you just, if there's something you think you want to try out and that fear is stopping you, just go.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if you just stand and watch when you get there
Yeah.
and you don't, just...
No
If
expectations.
you are that fearful, just go anyway and make some excuse where you just see it, because then you
Yeah.
might see it and go, actually it's not that bad and join in, or something along,
Yeah,
you know.
you bring up a good point, because sometimes the fear is our brain leaping 5 steps ahead to, well, if I go, then this could happen, then that could happen, and then, you're way ahead of it. And often it's just about just taking that next step, and fear can stop us from doing that. So we didn't talk about that last week, so that's a bonus. And then the third one was look for signs and clues, and that is often when you get an intention in your mind, sometimes your brain just starts to recognize it, picks up patterns. So say, we're talking about having a vacation / work trip to a sunny, warm place. Well, now I'm going to be noticing any opportunities or any ads on television,
magazines.
right, exactly, that I wouldn't normally have paid attention to because I've made that intention. So those signs are basically your brain saying, okay, you said you wanted this, I'm going to show you opportunities. So I'm going to go on to number 4, and that is sort of getting into the process itself, which is ask others what you do best and own it. So often we don't get clear about what our core talents and strengths are. And then we walk around kind of hollow because we're not actually honoring who we are and owning our value. And sometimes it's very hard for us to see those strengths. So we have to actually go to other people and say, what do I do best? Who am I the go-to person for? you can call on me to count on me to do what? What do you see as my greatest strength? And it's hard. It's hard to ask, and it's hard to see it for ourselves. So I challenge people all the time to do this.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah. Well, it's often with women. I'm going to use women as an example. Maybe you have a family and you've been staying at home and prioritizing the family, and it's very easy to lose sight of what you do that's of value, or what your strength is, or organizational skills are. So I use organizational skills as an example. I've been working with some mothers who are trying to get off the benefit, and they've been at home with the kids, out of work, and they feel very low about themselves and down on themselves. And so when I work with them, I really draw out what their friends call them. And Susie, you're great at this. Can you help me out? And sort of help them, gently remind them that they do have incredible skill sets and incredible talents. Sometimes it is lending an ear or jumping in to help when nobody else will. But those are actually useful things that you can use outside of the home as well. They're soft skills, the resilience and flexibility, or willing to pitch in or be a team member. But does this ring any bells with you or resonate with you at all?
Not me personally, but I do know the case of mothers that have been looking after their kids and trying to make their way back into whatever it is they do or want to do.
Yes.
And I can see that.
Yeah. And often mothers are so good at, procurement, for example. They've got to go and they've got to maximize their dollar when they get new school uniforms or school clothes and school supplies, or just budgeting for the family meals per week. And so they're very good at negotiating budgets and finding the best suppliers. And that's a procurement skill, right? You can apply that in a job. So, finding the formal name for what it is you do is a really helpful thing. So something to have a play with online sometimes, what job requires organizational ability, an ability to budget, good communication skills, because you've got to communicate with the little ones at home. So that's just something to
How to
consider.
break up fights.
Yes, exactly. Mediation skills. You can find formal words to describe all of that. So find what you do best and own it is number 4 on the list of how to make your life pop. We'll do number 5 next. In a number, I triple numbered that. Give yourself permission to do what you're passionate about. Now, we've talked about this, and you're passionate about music, and you found a way to earn a paycheck doing it, but not everybody does, do they?
Not all the time, no.
No.
It can be a hard industry to earn money from, especially in this country.
Mm-hmm. And that is often where we get stuck. Giving yourself permission to do something you're passionate about doesn't mean you have to earn a paycheck to do it, right? It's about giving yourself time to explore hobbies and do in your off time things that you love.
Yeah.
And that people who are, I often think about the people who do community theater, the hours and hours and hours that go into that. And it's amazing to me that anyone's willing to do that, but they love it. And they are usually engaged, happy, well-connected people. They have lots of friends, and they're very filled up and satisfied by what they do.
Yeah, I've actually been involved with some plays before and thought that exact thing about the actors, and even some lighting techs that have been there for like 20 odd years.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah. More power to them, because I'm
I
not
mean, I
putting my
think
hand up.
Me, I couldn't do that.
No, but you do other things that you love.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it's usually involved in music. But I think that's where we do get hung up. We think, okay, we're adults now. We can't, literally, I was looking for an ad on one of those, offers. You get coupon offers through the email. And it had a bunch of Crayola products. They were markers and crayons. Now, I am not talented, but I thought, when was the last time that I just sat down and let myself color something? And that's
Draw a
whole,
stick figure.
Yeah, well, right. It's probably, in my case, that's what it looked like. But coloring books that are so popular, or have been over the past few years, do we allow ourselves little things, just a little bit of time, to do something that makes us happy? And so maybe it's not a driving passion. So maybe that should be more like, what gives you joy? Just do one thing each day that gives you joy.
Yeah.
So that is number 5 on the list. And I will do one more, and then we're going to break for a song. Number 6 is identify and prioritize your values. This is another thing that we sort of get lost as we go about our life. I mean, we know what we value, but we don't realize that over the course of our life, our values change in order of priority. So, for example, if you start out and you're really keen and you're working in an industry, and so many people start out working bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in industries like, helping immigrants or doing these really cool things, and then they find that they actually need to make more money. So they can't work for a nonprofit anymore. They've got to get into the corporate world. And they start to move away from what their values are. Or you find that you're working in a field that you love, like I did with news, which was in journalism, and I was able to contribute to the community, which is a driving value of mine. But then as I got children and I was spending so little time with them, then, and I've talked about this before, it pulled me away from that value, and actually I had to reprioritize those values. So time with family became number 1 over contributing to the community. And you felt this too at different points in your life.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I'm going to ask you a question. Was it a hard transition, pulling back from your job, and was it long? Did it take you a while to work out?
Well, it didn't take me long when I found out we were moving to New Zealand. Then it was just a couple of months.
Right, okay.
And actually it wasn't a hard transition at all. Because
But when you were a news anchor,
yeah.
and you were like, well, I need it.
Yeah, and then knowing that there was something out of alignment and actually being able to change it took about 5 years. So
Right,
it
yeah,
did
yeah,
take a
but
long
that's-
time
yeah.
to reorder and reprioritize and then honor those. So you're right, and it's a really good point. It can take a while.
But I guess you don't want to look at, if you listeners are in a situation like that, you don't want to look at it as in time frame, do you? Because it could put you off.
Don't be put off by time frames. Sometimes
Yeah.
things can move quickly, but the closer you remain in touch with what you value and what order or priorities, let me start that again. What your number 1 values are in terms of priority, and sort of reorder those at different stages in your life as those requirements change or your circumstances change. The closer you stay in touch with that, probably the less time it will take for you to realign. It's just that we can get so far off track by responsibilities and other people's expectations, the coulds and the shoulds,
Yeah.
and real life responsibilities. So really trying to stay in touch with those values is key.
Right.
Right. Tony's looking at the screen. He's like, it's time for music now.
No, I just this next song. Well, first I'm going to ask why you picked a White Stripes song.
Why I picked White Stripes? Because I lived in Detroit, and
You don't. I shouldn't really say this on air. Or I shouldn't say it at all. But
yeah,
you don't
look like a White Stripes
Stripes fan.
I know.
You're too old. No.
Oh wow. No.
You're not too old. Sorry.
No. I would be. I'm not their demographic at all. I'm not.
Jack White's a very I've lost the word. Very creative.
Yeah.
Very creative.
And very out
He's
there.
just, yeah, I just
Yeah.
love his creativity.
Yeah.
Even if he does something that's not a hit, or
No.
he's just, it's
He's
like
doing it because
all his time, his brain's just ticking over.
And he's doing it because he's passionate about it. And maybe that's what appeals to me. But I also do like the music. I like a wide variety of music. But I particularly like musicians who are clearly tuned into something greater than themselves. He's doing it because it's something he values and because it's something he's passionate about. And so I guess maybe that's part of the appeal.
Right, yeah. Cool. And we have got I Just Don't Know What to Do With Myself, which was a cover. And I think this kind of made them international. This is when I first heard of the White Stripes.
Yeah, you would know more than I. I'm not music.
But did you know it was actually written in 1962 by Tommy Hunt,
No, I did not.
and it didn't chart.
Wow. Not the right time.
So yeah, it wasn't the right time, but I hope this guy has signed some kind of royalty deal that it's been covered a few times, Dusty Springfield and so on.
Yeah,
So I hope he did sign some kind of deal where he got some money back.
that would be nice. Or just knowing that he's contributed to joy in the world. Maybe that's not enough for him. I don't know. But let's hear it.
Here we are, yeah, let's hear it on Wellington Access Radio 106.1 FM, Pop with Pallas.
Yeah, I have to remember Dusty Springfield's version of it. I haven't heard that name in forever. Yes.
I just watched Netflix, a Glenn Campbell documentary.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really know much about it,
No.
and it just kept coming up.
And was it any good?
And it just said Glenn Campbell on tour and behind the scenes with what he's dealing with, and I thought, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Behind the scenes will always get you. It's an old news trick.
but I just thought, oh yeah, he's you know, fighting depression and he's got to go out there, or he's got stage fright or something.
Yeah.
But it was actually, he got Alzheimer's and he recorded this last album.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know who Glenn Campbell is, but
Yeah.
the See You Around album, and then let's go on tour and see how many we can do, and it was
That's
just like,
right. Yeah. I'd forgotten about that. And that's when
it
you
was
realize.
sad but amazing, and what's right, what's wrong. Does he know he's doing these gigs? Yes or no?
Is
Is
he
it mean
enjoying
for
it?
his family were in the band?
Yeah.
All his kids, well, not all of them, but
And was it, is it a bad thing if he doesn't know or enjoy? I mean, well, obviously he
Well,
doesn't enjoy, but you want him to
he's
enjoy
such a
it.
good musician
Yeah.
that I think he got fed up at times, but because of his condition, like, oh, that's
Yeah.
slow, or you're playing slow, and they're like, well, we're not, but
Yeah.
you're just having a bad day, and that's frustration, you know, that,
Yeah.
I don't know, but he did 100 and something concerts leading up to Christmas, and then the last one of that, they probably didn't show all the things that went wrong, but that they reckon was the one where they're like, no, we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah,
But they also
yeah.
said he won't know that he's done his last show ever.
Oh, gosh, that's just
'Cause
heartbreaking.
it's too hard for him to,
Yeah.
what, you know, didn't go into. But he got a Lifetime Achievement Award on the Golden Globes, and he didn't. I think the next day his mate said to him, you know, filming, oh, you're at the.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, was I?
Oh, bless.
What did I get one of those for? You know?
Yeah. Oh, God, it's so hard.
But yeah, it was just blew me away.
Yeah.
Mr. Jack White, Meg White, brother and sister,
That's right.
husband and wife.
Yeah. They
Jack White is so creative. There I go. He's creative, you know,
Yeah.
coming up with all these different.
Yeah.
The thing I love about Meg White, you know, I'm a drummer, is, you know, I don't think there's any technical brilliance in her playing whatsoever, but it's just, I think Jack it just works, and he can see that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why sometimes, you know, trying to be the best drummer or being the most technically brilliant or getting your technique so perfect is, I don't know, sometimes it just feels wrong to me.
Yes, well, actually, then I'm going to jump ahead in our list because number 10 is give yourself permission to be you. And that is such a perfect sort of example of what I mean.
Yes.
Right?
That's why I think Freddie Mercury,
Yeah.
and again, Queen Fan, was so good.
Yeah.
Because he knew who he was.
Yeah.
He's like, this is what I'm saying today, or whatever. If you don't like it, you know,
Yeah.
you
Well,
can shrug it off.
and so often I work with people all the time, and they get stuck on this outer layer of the bomb model that I talk about in pop, which is the signals that you send to the outside world, and they wrap themselves in a wrapper to appear a certain way. And I am totally guilty of doing this too.
Oh, I'm so guilty, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all are. Society sort of demands, well, if you're going to take a job, you have to look professional, you have to do this and this. But you've got to find ways to be yourself. And, you know, yes, you have to come up against certain parameters, and rock stars can get away with a lot more in terms of being out there. But there are little things that you can do to be you. And that is in the signals that you send. But also give yourself permission to be enough. And that's really what I meant with this. And that is, I'm good enough. I may not be technically the best at whatever I'm doing, but I'm enough. And this is the best that I have to give, and I'm going to give it freely and with joy, and I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I'm playing to my strengths, so this is me. I'm different from the other chocolates in the box. Not better than, not less than, just different from.
Yeah.
And we just don't do that enough. We don't allow ourselves to do that enough.
Not at all.
No. So that was number 10. I'll jump back to number 7, which is digging deeper into your life experience. This is another area I find people often just give short shrift to, and that is, Oh yeah, well, I have a black belt in martial arts, but whatever. That's not what I do on the job. It's not something I list on the CV. And yet, what does that mean about you? You've gone year after year, put yourself through, being tested and graded and actually physically pummeled. You've been persistent. You've been resilient.
Disciplined, yeah.
Yeah, disciplined. And all of these things that this sort of brings out in you and what you learn are important parts of you. And so to own that. Is there something that you do that you have maybe undervalued in the past?
Good question.
Yeah. See, and it takes a while to think about it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes people actually will compartmentalize bad things that happen to them, a health scare, for example, or actually they had a health problem, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm just going to tuck that away because, that's not something I want to relive." But if you allow yourself to look at how did you grow from that? How did you grow stronger? What did you learn? And incorporate that into your definition of self, then that can make your life pop by recognizing that you've grown stronger through something. Or, when I lost my brother, I realized that I had grown more compassionate through his struggles and watching his struggles and trying to help him through his struggles. And so compassion was something that I got through that experience. So, So really digging deeper into your life experience to find the different things and different elements about you that you might be dismissing the value of can make your life pop. Number 8 is, and I've just changed this on the fly before the show because I thought this was particularly important, be present. Just really be present. It's a universal truth we've known for years and years, and yet we forget it all the time, especially because of technology. I was talking to someone today who said he's just banning himself from taking his phone when he goes to take the dog for a walk. He's just leaving the phone at home because he can't seem to get through a walk, and I'm guilty of this too, without checking that phone.
Yeah.
We are so not present. And
I'm lucky. I feel like I'm aware of the phone, and when I'm at home around the kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
good.
I will check it quickly now and again, but to stay off stuff that I'm going to sit there more than 5 seconds.
Yes, and I've generally found that New Zealanders seem to be a little bit more resistant to things encroaching on their private space and their head space, and and I admire that, and I think it's amazing. People are rarely present, or their minds, they look like they're present, but their minds have gone off someplace else. In fact, I toyed with the idea of changing POP from the power of passion, purpose, and personality to the power of passion, purpose, and presence. Presence being your how you present yourself, but also present, like being present, because that's how important I think it is. And we haven't mastered it. In fact, we're getting further away from it as a society. I find that we're numbing ourselves and escaping more and more into our devices.
Yeah, that's what some pictures too, that these artists, I don't know if you've seen them on Facebook, which you have to be on.
Yes, I am on Facebook, but what
But
do you mean?
these pictures that these artists are drawing, painting about humanity and what it's looking like.
Yeah.
And the technology is in a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's.
Well, we're going to be part technological
I guess
beings
that's looking at
ourselves.
it in a sad way.
It is, but I think it's just, we have a brain, we have cognitive control that we can take over our lives, and so that means being aware that it's a temptation, being aware that you can get addicted to checking your phone, which I am. And so I set myself little things like, okay, I'm going to walk up to town, I'm going to put my phone in my pocket, and I'm not going to look at it. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take this section of time, and I'm going to not check email. I have to actually, step by step throughout the day, set little goals for myself so that I won't be pulled away from the present by technology.
Must be hard though if you have a job where you need to be on standby or.
And it's true, and we are in a very connected world, but very rarely does it matter if you take 10 or 15 or 20 or even half an hour away from a phone, unless you're a doctor on call, or my husband ran a network, and that was always his excuse. I'm running a 24/7 network. Okay, I get it, but
That's what I'm going to use tonight.
Yeah. But for the rest of us, it's really not minute by minute.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not all. I am aware of it, but I have been caught by my kids going, you know, can you look at this? Oh, just in a second.
Yeah, I
And
know.
They tell me, get off your phone, Daddy, look at this.
I know.
So actually, you've inspired me to go home tonight and
Cool.
make a phone bowl.
That's a good idea.
When you get home at a certain time, the phones go in there and they don't come out.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. Okay, we're down to 1:15 left in this show for anyone listening or watching on Facebook Live. So I better get this last one in, which is listen to others when they compliment you. And don't try and dismiss a sincere compliment thinking that you're being humble. In fact, the former Prime Minister of Israel, Golda Meir, said, "Do you think you're so great you have to be humble?" Which is another way to look at it. But the most important thing is to honor another person's genuine compliment and say, "Thank you, I appreciate that. That makes me feel good." And very often, like in my profession, the speaking profession, they'll say, if you're complimented, go back to the person and say, "Thank you very much for that. What was it that resonated with you about the speech," or something, to get actual information from it. So, shrugging off compliments, I bet you do that a lot.
No, I'm aware of compliments, and I might go, "Oh, thanks," or but I'm definitely aware of them and take them on board.
Good.
Yeah,
Well,
you have to. I've spent a lot of time with the negative.
yeah, and in a public eye playing drums and stuff. You know what, we're down to the last 10 seconds. That was our top 10 list of ways to make your life pop. I certainly hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. Tony, thank you too.
Thank you.
Wasn't sure if you wanted to take us out, but we don't have much time to do that. Thank you for tuning in and bearing with us. I do have a guest the next time we do the show, which is not next Monday, but the following Monday. So we won't be going guestless, but we made it through our top 10 list, so I'm super excited about that. Okay, see you guys.